Do you need to love nightlife to visit Osaka? Should you skip Osaka altogether? Is it literally just about food and drinking? And the short answer is no, although I'm hoping you'll stay a little bit longer to hear why. You see, I wouldn't define myself as massively introverted, clearly. I'm posting this online right now and I don't hate the idea of interacting with people, but clubs, bars, packed areas and shouting and screaming is the opposite of my idea of fun. Yeah, Osaka was genuinely one of my favourite cities. And as we go through this guide, I hope to share a bit more, not just about the city after dark, but also the other things you can do that you might find a bit more appealing for a 3-day stay in Osaka. So first things first, is Osaka worth it? If you've already visited a big city like Tokyo or it just looks overwhelming. If you've already locked in and you've decided you're definitely visiting Osaka, like I said, feel free to skip ahead to the next part of the guide. But honestly, when planning this trip, I just saw shots of nightlife and bars and drinking and I wasn't sure that was all me. But there's a lot more to this city than the streets of Dotonbori, and while it's a fantastic street and incredible and I'd highly recommend you going there, the energy around it isn't for everyone. We visited Osaka straight after Kyoto and actually found that it was a lot more of a laid-back experience. Whilst Kyoto has a lot of people squished into a few main areas that were never really designed for that many people, Osaka has kind of built itself into a large, spacious city with good transport connections, plenty of space and lots of things to do regardless of your interests. So to do all these great things, how long do you need? It's easy to say the more time you have the better, but going on an assumption that you have a relatively tight time frame, 3 days should be enough to enjoy things at a fair but not rushed pace. It's super easy to get around the city by the train or metro and a bit of walking provided you're staying in the right place. And there's your next question, where is the right place? Well, we stayed in 2 different accommodations. The Capsule Hotel that was an experience and the Grids Hotel Osaka. Both of them are in a similar location just south of the river by Dotonbori, but also close to Nipponbashi and the Namba train station. This put it in an ideal location for a lot of the things we planned to do and gave us easy access to things a little bit further away like Osaka Castle and Shinsekai. Here's how we made the most of that location with my suggestions on some things to do. When we first arrived in Osaka, our first stop was the Umeda Sky building. It was probably the thing that was furthest from our hotel, and since we'd arrived in Shin Osaka Station, we didn't have to walk far. It was an incredible experience at night with a stunning view that was nowhere near as crowded as Shibuya Sky in Tokyo, but in my opinion, just as enjoyable, if not more so. You also get to ride this ridiculously cool escalator. Other than that, what I consider the 2 best main daytime activities are Osaka Castle and Osaka Aquarium. The castle comes up on just about every list you've ever seen about Osaka, with good reason too. It's a stunning castle, and whilst we didn't opt to go inside, just walking around the grounds and the area around it was enough to enjoy the autumn colours when we went. There was a really enjoyable atmosphere there, and it makes for some really incredible photos. You might be wondering if it's even worth going if you don't go inside, and I personally was thinking the same, but trust me, it really is. Osaka Aquarium doesn't nearly get so much love on the guides, and I'm honestly not sure why. If you're looking for something a little bit more chill, particularly if you've had a busy night out, then Osaka Aquarium is a fantastic place to live out all of your Animal Crossing fantasies as you watch the ocean sunfish glide past you. Although it's not in the city centre, it's not a particularly difficult place to get to, and it is a great activity if the weather gets rough one of the days. Still sticking with that daytime theme, some of my other favourite activities closer to the centre were the Namba Osaka Shrine, Kurumon Market and the Cinema Roll Cafe, despite the look of this blue curry.
Nope.
The shrine is iconic and a must visit in the heart of bustling Namba, and is unlike any other shrine you'll have visited, and a great way to cleanse your soul after either smashing a blue curry or being subject to a capsule hotel. Kurumon Market, whilst not my favourite in Japan, was a nice way to spend a bit of time and grab some snacks. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll already know I'm a sucker for a themed cafe. Show me. Each of these things is a great thing to tag onto a day or spend some time doing stuff slightly slower. If you're into Pokemon, and I'm definitely into Pokemon, you also have the Pokemon Center Osaka DX and the Pokemon Cafe if you didn't manage to visit the one in Tokyo, or if this one's more your style. The shopping center these are situated in is also a great place for other anime related shops, and you could easily spend an extended period of time here of a few hours. With all that daytime stuff being said, Osaka does thrive in the evening, but you don't need to be out late to make the most of that. Honestly, any time in the evening past dark and you'll see places like Dotonbori spring to life. Clearly, you have the Mega Don Quixote, but if that's not your vibe, and honestly it wasn't mine, you can skip the sensory overload that is apparently the entire brand of the shop and enjoy any of the arcades along the Dotonbori strip. I really wish that we had allotted more time to do this, because the time we did spend in the arcade was great fun, and between frustrating attempts at claw machines and throwing money at obtaining questionable figures we didn't actually really want, this is some of the low-key stuff that I miss most about our trip in Japan, so don't overlook it as a genuine activity. Although I will come on to what made my favourite night in our entire trip towards the end. If you're enjoying this content, I massively appreciate you subscribing and following along as I try and hit 250 subscribers by the end of the year. It might not sound like a lot, but it's my new goal and it would mean a lot to me. Back to Osaka, obviously Dotonbori is an attraction in itself, and if drunk tourists are not your thing, it's just as fun early evening as it is later on. There's plenty of food stalls basically everywhere you look, and some great restaurants such as Matsusakagu or Wagyu Idaten if you're looking to sit down and eat. Away from the riverside, the two main areas worth exploring in the evening are Shinsekai and Nipponbashi Dendentown. I'll tell you right now that the busiest and the more crowded of the two is absolutely Shinsekai, and it's not particularly quiet here either, but it doesn't feel anywhere near as intense as Dotonbori. It's much more like the crowd here is less in your face and just enjoying the retro paradise of the once new world. If you're wondering what you can do here, the answer really is just to stroll around, take in the atmosphere and enjoy the sights. Or you can take a slightly different route and buy a takoyaki hat and just wear it the entire night. As it's known as the kitchen of Japan, Osaka has a lot of food places, and one of the food they're most famous for is the okonomiyaki. We found a very low-key place completely by chance, and honestly, I'd recommend you do the same, as there's so much to choose from just walking past the streets and taking your pick. I've also heard good things about Matsuria, although apparently so had everyone else, and it was busy with a queue, which led us to our side street pancake. In case Shinsekai isn't your vibe either, and you're looking for an evening activity that gives you a bit more time and space, browsing the shops of Nipponbashi Dendentown is something that can be done at any time, but has a really great feel to it in the evening. So long as you don't miss the shop's closing times, you can use this as a chance to indulge all of your anime and trading card spending habits to your heart's content. The great thing about this is there's so many shops in such a small place, but if you want my Pokemon card recommendations, I have got a short covering it on my channel. The prices tend to be pretty decent here, presumably because if they weren't, you could just go 2 doors down to the next shop and buy the exact same thing. And the atmosphere feels lively whilst being both safe and kind of relaxed enough that you can take your time when looking around the shops. However, if you're looking for the perfect mixture of price, entertainment and vibes, then Round 1 Osaka was the most fun evening I had, not just in Japan, but maybe ever. You pay a one-time entry fee and you have access to 7 floors of entertainment featuring mini sports like table tennis, football, archery and baseball, a roller skating rink, some little bike area, tons of free-to-play arcade machines and as much karaoke as you want. The setup allows you to chat and interact with people and join in or keep yourself to yourself and do whatever you want. It's open 24 hours so you can do this literally whenever, but the nighttime slot was certainly a lot of fun and far from busy or overcrowded. I cannot recommend this place enough if any of this stuff is your kind of thing. Finally, other places that I didn't manage to visit but are worth a mention are Universal Osaka, Sumiyoshi Taisha, and the Team Labs Botanical Gardens. I would say that the Team Labs exhibit we saw in Tokyo was well worth the time, and I've covered it off in my Tokyo activities video, or if you want to see our entire trip, just click here.